Welcome back everyone to Blender Beginners Bootcamp, and this is where we left it off, on our camper van. Alright, so let's move our camper van over there, let's hide everything else out of the way, and basically this is the foundation to build in kind of stylized, assets and things like that. Or if you want to build like realistic Aston Martins and things, then this is the actual technique you're going to use, albeit you're going to be using it to a much higher level when you do that, and you're going to get a lot better to actually do it. So this is just a simple, basic introduction to modeling something like a camper van. All right, so first of all, what we'll do is we'll bring in a plane. So Shift A, bring in a plane. I'm just going to rotate my plane round, so RY90. I'm then going to press 3. I'm going to bring it up and make it just the right size to be an actual camper van. So S and Y, let's pull it out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reset the transformation. So Control A, all transforms. And then we're going to go in, and what we want to form first of all is the actual wheel arches. So if I press Control R, we have 2 wheel arches. So we're going to put 2 edge loops in. Left click, right click, and then let's pull those apart. So if I press S and Y, if they don't pull apart, just make sure you're on medium point. So S and Y then, and then we can pull them out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press Control B, and I'm going to push up my middle mouse button till we have something like 1 in the middle and 2 each side like so. So left click, right click, and there we go. All right, so now what we want to do is we actually want to make these wheel arches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the center of each of these. I'm going to press 3 on the number pad, and then what I'm going to do now is work on making these wheel arches. So I'm going to pull them up to there, then I'm going to grab the next 2 on each of the sides, and then pull them up, and then the next 2 on each of the sides, and pull them up, like so. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure that these are going to be rounded off enough, so you can see at the moment they're quite jagged going up, so let's grab the middle on each one of these, and round them off, like so. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so what I want to do now is bring in an edge loop in the center. So if I press Control R, and then what I want to do instead, because I don't want them actually rounded like this, not on this part anyway, I want to left click, and then to make this straight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press G twice, like so, and then press the E button, and what that's going to do is it's going to straighten it out for me, and then I can put it right in the center, like so. Now, if you right click, you will end up with it still doing that, so I don't really want to do that. So I'm just going to do that again with Control R, and then left click, G twice, and then E, and then it'll straighten it up, and I can put it in the middle like so. All right, so now I'm actually happy with that. Let's actually bring this out a little bit. So I want to bring it out over here. We still got our actual orientation in the center, which is great. And now what I want to do is I want to bring in my first modifier. So I'm going to bring in a mirror modifier. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure clipping is on, because I'm going to then join these 2 up. So if I now press E for extrude, pull them to each other, and then when I try and pull them apart, you'll see they don't pull apart because clipping is on. Now, what I'm looking for on here is the actual width. So this width on here is what I'm looking for on my actual camper van, because I want my camper van kind of looking something like this. All right, so I'm happy with that. Now, the next thing I want to do is I just want to pull out the top of this. So I'm just going to grab this edge and this edge, and we're just going to pull it out very slightly like so, because I think that just adds a little bit more character to my own camper van. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come in and I'm just going to pull these in a little bit, just a tiny bit, like so. All right, I think I've got the right shape. So now what we'll do is we'll bring in the secret, and that is a subdivision surface. So if I bring in subdivision surface like so, we'll see we end up with something like this. Not great at the moment, and the reason is because we don't really have anything, kind of supporting those links or anything like that. So we need to support all of this basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control R. I'm going to bring in an edge loop, and the moment I bring it in, now you can see we're actually starting to get some actual supports on there. Let's also bring in an edge loop over here. So left click, bring it over here like so. And let's bring one in the back as well. So left click, bring it in the back. Now you can see it's actually starting to look a little bit more like a camper van. Let's also bring in another edge loop. So Control R, left click, bring it up like so. And there we go. Now we've got a nice actual smooth edge to actually do something with. Now I need one on here as well. Here, here, and here. Because these are 2 rounded. I mean, you won't have it like the wheel arches going like up like this. So what I need to do is press Control R, left click, and bring it into place. And then Control R, left click, bring it into place. And then Control R, left click, bring it into place. And finally the last one, bring it into place. Now I do want another actual edge loop going around here, because as you can see, if I right click and shade smooth at the moment, we haven't really got a lot to work with there, because we've only got this part here. So we need to bring in one more edge loop left click, bring it down to the thickness that you actually want your wheel arches. All right, so now we've got that. What we need to do now is actually make those wheel arches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it, going all the way round to here, all the way round back to here, and then do the same on here. So I'm shift clicking, control clicking, shift clicking, control clicking, like so. And now what we can do is we can press shift D, pull these out along this axis. And then what I can do is I can press E and pull them back in like so. And there you go. You can see already we've got some really nice wheel arches, albeit do we actually need to, you know, make these ends a little bit better. So if I go in and I grab both of these, and what I'm going to do is press I and bring it in a little bit. In fact, I'm just going to actually, I'm thinking whether to do it that way or bringing an edge loop on here. If I bring another edge loop, you'll see that it actually straightens it up anyway, like so. So I think I'm actually going to do it that way. So you can see I've got a problem with this one. I'm going to press Control R, left click, right click. Let's do the same on this one. Control R, left click, right click. And now the same on, which one is it? This one here. So Control R, left click, right click. And again, all it's about when we're doing this is actually adding supports to our actual camper van. So that's what it's really all about, just making sure that you've got the right supports in place. What you can do now is as well, we can actually lift those up if we need to, because I think actually I do want to lift these up. So I'm going to come to this first one. I'm going to come all the way around to this second one, like so. And then I'm going to do the same on this one. So I'm going to come to this one here, all the way around then to this one here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick them up slightly. And I think actually, how far do I want to pick them up? Maybe something like that. And then what I want to do is press S and Z, pull them back in a little bit, pull them down a little bit. And I think I'm happy with how those look. All right, so let's do now this center bar. So I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to grab this one and this one. I'm going to press Shift D, pull them out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press E and pull them back in like so. And then I'm going to press Control R, 2, left click, right click. And now let's press S and Y and really pull those out into the place that I want them. As you can see, we might need some more actual supporting links there. You can also press Control B and that'll actually bring in some bevels. And that also is sometimes a little bit easier to actually do this. As you can see now, that's looking pretty nice. All right, so let's now pull this up a little bit. So I'm going to grab all the way over to here. And I think I'm going to grab this one and maybe this one as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull them up and see what that actually looks like, if I'm actually happier with that. And I think am I happy with that? Does it look better for me? I'm just looking on my old camper van. Actually, probably a bit smaller. I'm just going to actually leave it as it was. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it like that. The other thing, of course, is as well that you can actually bring in your levels. So you can bring your levels up a little bit and that will smooth everything off for you. All right, I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check now and make sure I don't need to round these up as well. So if I press I like so, I can bring... In fact, not I need to bevel this off, I think. So I'm going to come in, Alt, Shift, and click, and just bevel this part off. So Control B, bevel it off. We'll do these on the next lesson. They're quite easy to do those parts. And let's save out our work, and I'll see you on the next one, everyone. All right, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.